Hey, Oates, how are you, man?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Doing great.
Good. You ready to commentate something?
Yeah, I guess so. I've never actually done a commentary on a full rando before, so this should be interesting. have to have speed booster available somewhere before that. So I think the way the logic works out is they just never force you into those. All right, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we are live. Sorry about the little background information there. My name is Kipp, and I am joined today by my commentary co-host, Oatsngoats. Oats, how are you doing?
Doing great today, man. Glad to be here, glad to commentate, and glad to see some good Super Metroid action. So,
ditto for me as well. Thank you for being here to co-commentate with me. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special treat today. We have a Super Metroid Randomizer Accessible Tournament exhibition match. We got a bunch of really great runners today. We've got Azder Azder and Zoasty. We also have Sloaters27 and Andrew, formerly known as Foosda. All great Super Metroid runners, as well as good rando players. So looking forward to a good matchup here. So Oats, what are you expecting to see today?
well, I know Zos is obviously very experienced at the game, and he does do quite a bit of randomizer. Well, I know he used to do a bit of like practice and for some of the older tournaments, so I know he's pretty well versed in these. And adding his experience on top of that, I'm sure he'll do very good. And then, I mean, honestly, we have so many good players here, so many knowledgeable players. So, I haven't seen Andrew and Sloaters play too much, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, speaking of which, the cool part about this being a showcase is the fact that we have 4 runners who are really exceptional at speedrunning Super Metroid, but also have some of that rando background. So let's talk just for a second about the way this logic is set up. Considering that it's called a randomizer accessible tournament, they actually have a logic that's built in that will be a lot more sort of open to newer players that might not have played as much Super Metroid. So let's talk about real quick what they have. The logic includes hell runs that will never be required. Suitless Meridia is also not required, ever. They've even taken out mockballing, short charging, wave gate glitching, and green gate glitching. The only specific tricks that are required to even be able to complete a seed are shine sparking, wall jumps, and infinite bomb jumps. So the cool part is that it makes it accessible to newer players, but the better you are, the more opportunity you have to use the extra skills that you have to sort of sequence break and do things like that. So I expect a lot of these players to circumvent the logic a lot during this run.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And like you said, it really does let better players shine. You can really see their skill, and since it's a little more straightforward and everything. So, all right, are we going to get it kicked off? Are we waiting, or?
Yeah, I think we're just going to sit here and wait for a minute. I think they're doing a few last-minute tweaks to the restream.
Oh, okay. Yeah, looks like someone's a little cut off there. Looks like they fixed it.
Yeah, for sure. And just a quick heads up for anybody who happens to be new, if you look at the like next to the capture of each player's game feed, you will see a list of the items, a tracker, if you will, and that tracker not only includes all of the major items such as beams and movement item upgrades, it also has the G4 bosses, all golden right now because none of them have been killed. So as they continue through the game and kill each new boss, those will be grayed out. They can't go to Torin until they kill all 4 of the bosses, so that'll be a good way for you guys to keep track of exactly who has what. And it does look like we will be getting started here shortly.
Yep, looks like they've all started. I'm probably going to get them synced up here. As you can tell, right off the gate, we already are skipping Series Station. Those are not ever really required. I don't think they ever have them in randomized. It's just kind of unnecessary, so they just go ahead and skip them.
Yeah, I'm a little biased. I've never really enjoyed Series Station. I guess you as the world record holder might feel differently, but I was always happy that I didn't have to go through it.
No, trust me, after you do it, 30,000 times, it kind of gets old, but,
Yes, I can imagine. So let's talk a little bit of strategy here, Oats. I know that, you don't do a ton of randos, but I have seen you do some before because I've commentated some of your races. And one thing that I've always kind of pointed out when I've been on commentary is, sort of the better you are at pure speed running, the more you can take advantage of some of the items that you get. So for someone of your stature in the community, I mean, you're literally one of the best players in the world. What are a few of the items, like movement based items, that you like really want to see because like, oh man, I can start cutting a lot of time here?
Yeah, so a few of them would be obviously Speed Booster, allowing you to access a lot of areas very quickly. Looks like the runners all got ice, by the way, at Morph. And another one would be high jump boots, which is very, very important. Getting Morph as well. Looks like Zoast is getting it with a little bit of a trick there. And with ice, I didn't know you could freeze that guy. Getting a little sidetracked here. But high jump also is a very, very important item for like lower Norfair and everything, and just moving quickly in general. That's why they get it in typical any % runs. Other than that, really, what it comes down to is because these runners don't need space, for example, but if they get it, they'll probably just opt to grab it, just to save a tiny bit of time. But you don't need any of the items other than Vivaria, Gravity, 3 E-Tanks, and Charge Beam. So really, it's just going to come down to how comfortable you feel. If they don't get the items they want and they're not comfortable, they probably will do a little more searching, but they're comfortable, they'll just continue.
Yeah, that's a good point. Kind of using the low percent template, all the items that you mentioned are the only ones required. The only other thing you would need is either Ice Beam or Speed Booster from a traditional sense to try to get through the Botwoon hallway. Other than that, you can pretty much finish the game. So it just kind of comes down to what you're comfortable with and what can help you move fast. But I totally agree with you, especially about high jump boots. I feel like that's one of those items that you don't really realize how comfortable it makes you until you do a rando for the first time and you don't get it, and you have to find all these new ways of going through the room. So
oh yeah, it can be very, very difficult if you don't find it. And luckily they found ice, which is very, very nice for some of it, so they don't have to do some of the lower Norfair difficult stuff. But like you said, it's a little more beginner friendly, this one, so I wouldn't assume we would see that regardless. So
yeah, so we got Ice Beam and Morphing Ball at the start. Ice Beam and Speed Booster are two items where you want to at least find one of them as early as possible so you know that you can go do Meridia. Looks like we just got our first Power Bomb. Power Bombs are another item that, if you can find them this early, can be incredibly helpful, not only in terms of replacing bombs to get through some of the normal breakable blocks that you need, but also Power Bombs really can access a lot more doors than other items earlier on. So I'm sure the runners are happy to see that.
Yeah, and one thing is, if they don't find bombs relatively quickly here, they have to really manage their power bomb usage, which can kind of put them in some interesting situations if they have to, let's say, go to Kraid, or because once they get to Kraid, if they don't get power bombs from Kraid, they have to return and use some of those power bombs to escape. So you can soft lock yourself if you're not careful, but I think we'll be fine, and we'll probably find bombs or more power bombs.
Yeah, that is an excellent point. Bombs are, technically an item that you don't even have to have. I've finished tons of randomizers without finding them, but at the same time, it's very easy to get yourself in a bad situation if you only have 5 power bombs to replace them. So hopefully the runners will be cognizant of that through.
Yep, and another thing is, if they don't find bombs, they'll need either speed or high jump to access some areas, because bombs allow you to do infinite bomb jumps. Well, as you said, I don't believe the logic requires it, but they can do some searching around just in case, if they want. And for like Crocomire, for example, they can do infinite bomb jumps to get some of those items that grapple. So
good point. Real quick, what you just noticed a few of the players do, I was looking at Sloaters here on the bottom left, is don't forget that this is a logic that has full randomization in it. And so you will see the runners sometimes check items. They just check the 2 minor items that you would get to after the gauntlet. And so since they know for sure that there are 2 items up there, but they don't know if it could be major or minor, they have to go up there and check while they get a chance. So if this were a different logic that people have used in some past tournaments, they probably wouldn't even look up there necessarily, because it'd probably just be a few missiles. So they both saw that there's only supers and regular missiles up there, so they know it's not required to get over there if they don't need to.
Yep, another point that Kipp was saying, like you don't need to use Bach balls to do the logic properly. So they don't need to necessarily do this. Sloaters on the bottom left, but obviously he's going to check the items just in case. But it's not in logic, technically.
Yeah, they got back-to-back E-tanks, which is something that you definitely like to see. The more E-tanks you have, the more comfortable it is to, potentially go up to Fantoon first or something like that. So, there comes a point where you might have some diminishing returns on energy tanks, but I never am upset to have multiple at the beginning. It just gives you a lot more freedom to, not have to worry about being, pinpoint accuracy on every tiny thing.
Right. Once you get 3, you feel pretty good, but the extra 1 or 2 is always nice, just in case you don't find very good beams. Or, and then you just shine spark around and everything, so it definitely helps.
Yeah, and for anybody in the audience who might be somewhat newer to Super Metroid, there are energy tanks and reserve tanks. Traditionally, in these randomizer settings, the energy tanks are a lot more valuable because not only do they give you, 100 extra energy, but they also refill you on your energy when you pick them up, whereas reserves do not. So a lot of times they're good to find in select places when you need a refill.
Yep, so it looks like they're picking up some more power bombs here, checking underneath the where the Edakuns are, where they teach you how to wall jump. There's a few items down here. He's going to go ahead. Sloaters is going to go ahead and skip the animal. Typically, there's power bombs up there, but it looks like he's going to skip that to where Foosda is going to try to see what's up there.
Yeah, calculated choice, maybe not thinking that the time investment is worth it. Oats, I've got a question for you real quick. I believe you have the second fastest 100% time ever, which is a very difficult category, so you're very familiar with all the different crazy rooms that are out there and how long it takes to pick up a lot of these items. Considering that it's a full rando and you don't have the choice of just checking major item locations, charge beam could be anywhere. Which means you might even, if you commit yourself to only finding charge, you might have to walk around for a long time and check, a ton of items before you find it. If you were running this rando, would you sort of continue to pick up minor items until you found charge, or what would sort of be your strategy here?
Yeah, since it is, like you said, a little more beginner friendly, it's really, really hard to tell if you haven't done many of these. For me, I would definitely be picking up as many missiles and super missiles as possible, because there's been a few times where I've done these randomizers and, you don't find charge, or it's in a very difficult item location that would take a while to get. But since you have 30, 40, 50 supers, or whatever the cap is for this type of randomizer, or a lot of missiles to go with those supers, you might not need to check those longer areas, and you can just go ahead and fight Mother Brain.
Yeah, I think I would approach it the exact same way. One thing we just saw Sloaters do, he's going to check on the Spore Spawn missiles, but he is not going to be fighting Spore Spawn to get there. He used a power bomb to open up a block and then got in a correct position. You can see Foosda, Andrew, down on the bottom right doing it right now as well to fire a super into that room.
Yeah,
you know that you get it when you see the... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, little does he know there's only missiles, but
yeah.
as you were saying, you get it when the screen shakes. That's just a super missile hitting it's like collision. So
yeah, for sure. I'm sure if they knew that in advance that it was going to be only a missile pack, they wouldn't have gone in there. But you got to check, because if a really good movement item had been in there, then that would have affected them for the whole rest of the run.
All right.
One small thing you'll note, on the top left, Azder at the moment is heading down to the charge beam location. There is an item underneath the charge beam location known as the waterway, but you cannot get to that location without speed booster. So if there's a good item back there, it is currently locked. So you'll notice that the runners are skipping it for the moment.
Yep, and they probably won't come back unless they're really looking for something. What you're going to see Zoasty doing here is he's going to moonwalk into the wall to get as close as he can. jump onto the ledge and jump and shoot a super, which goes through the gates, allowing him to get through this through the gate to this room to check this item. Typically, you need wave beam for this room.
Yeah, that's a really cool trick. I think primarily outside of Rando, I think that's used a good bit in RBO, but I can't really think of any other Super Metroid categories where that is traditionally used.
Yeah, nor can I, actually. Just a lot of randomizers, typically.
That is one great thing about these randomizers that I really like, is that there's so much cool tech in Super Metroid, and these randomizers really allow you to kind of use them more regularly. So it's cool to see a lot of these tricks get used. I think Zoast up here is checking the Blue Brinstar Power Bomb location. He needs to be a little careful here.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh boy.
That was very, very risky. It looks like this is not even an item randomizer. On the top left, he got Spazer at the vanilla location. So, very interesting.
Of all the items to find at vanilla, I bet Spazer would have been one of the last ones they would have wanted.
Yeah, so what Zos is going to do now, he's going to be kind of just trying to make up as much lost time as possible by not checking the areas that he's already gone to, and he knows there's nothing good. So he's not going to check, for example, Gauntlet. He's not going to check the gated room that I was speaking of, where you typically need wave. So he knows where all the good items are. He's going to go right to them, and hopefully we'll see a speedy comeback.
Yeah, as you pointed out, one of the reasons that play is, it's not a bad play, but it can be a little bit risky, is because those hoppers, if I recall correctly, do 80 damage per hit to the normal yellow power suit. And if you get stuck in that room and can't kill him fast enough, it can be a bit dangerous. So unfortunately he took a death, but he's definitely not out of it. There's plenty of time left. All right, Azder is going to be fighting Kraid on the top left. Let's see if he can get the Kraid quick kill.
Who knows, actually. He did.
Left us in suspense there, but he was able to get the Kraid quick kill. And let's see what's at the various spot. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is definitely, we're going to have to restart this, give him some new seeds. Because that's 2 items now that are in the vanilla locations.
While this logic does not require hell runs, I will still say that I believe that the various suit is the single most individually powerful item in randomizer, because if you're an experienced player and you have the right items to do so, suitless Meridia really isn't too bad. But trying to hell run in lower Norfair RBO style is something I would really never recommend for a randomizer. So the fact that they can now sort of move through Norfair and upper Norfair without fear of losing health is a really nice thing to have.
Yeah,
also picking up the wave beam.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting a lot of beams. Spazer, wave, and ice so far. Very good. Still going to be looking for that charge beam. Until then, I'm sure he'll keep picking up supers and missiles.
Yeah, wave is really useful. Obviously, it adds some damage to the beam, and if I recall correctly, I believe wave beam is the second most powerful beam in the game other than plasma, just in terms of pure damage. But obviously, it also allows you to clip through walls and such. So a lot of these blue gates, they will no longer have to potentially glitch. So that's a nice convenience item for them.
Yep, and there is that one little, I don't know what it's called, or to where they go in the frog room right to left. I don't know if that's still possible, but I remember seeing that. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, Kipp.
I do. I haven't done it myself. I have seen it, but I'm not sure what all the requirements are for that, because I haven't done it myself.
I believe it's just wave, and they can just do it from right to left. So if he doesn't find speed booster coming up, he can just kind of do that little trick if he knows about it, and be kind of a little cool showcase. They're always finding new things in this game, so I find that very interesting.
So we've got Andrew down on the bottom right fighting against Fantoon. Looks like he decided to go up to the wreck ship first. On the bottom left, Sloaters found Grapple Beam and has used it to go to the X-ray item location, which actually had Space Jump. That's a really nice item, even though it's not required. Could definitely, as Oates pointed out earlier, lead to a lot more, speed through different rooms. And in the meantime, Azder on the top left picked up the X-ray scope, which actually does have some use if you also have Charge Beam and Plasma Beam. You can use it to kill Botwoon and Dragon much quicker. So he picked that up, and he's hoping to find those other two items.
Yep, so for Foosda here, it should be a pretty easy fight. He's got plenty of E-Tanks at reserve, plenty of missiles, so it should be pretty easy work for him. Typically, if you go there with only one E-Tank, it's a little bit scary. Ooh, so Azder finding the gravity suits. The bottom right of the Bubble Mountain room.
So he's already found Varia and gravity, yes?
Yes, yeah. Oh, no. Yes, yeah, he did. He was the first one to do. He's the only one to do crate so far, so yeah.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. What all can gravity do for the runners here?
Oh, it just allows him to obviously just kind of plan his route a little bit easier now going into Meridia or where he wants to delve into here, because like you were saying, they can do suitless Meridia, but it's not in logic, not required. So now he can just kind of breathe easy and decide what he wants to do next, with not much thinking involved really at this point.
That's right. And even if, for example, it looks like Azder's doing the trick right now that you referred to. Oates, there he goes, straight through. That's really neat. But the gravity suit, even if they never found another movement item, technically speaking, as of right now, if he were to find Charge Beam, he would be in go mode for the most part, because he can always do gravity jumps to get through Meridia, as well as to get into Lower Norfair. So at this point, he's got a lot of the best items. He really just needs Charge Beam, and at that point, he technically could finish the game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, just one more E-Tank, and then yeah. Which is interesting. Everyone else has many eats. Well, other than Zoas, but I believe he's, like I said, trying to skip a lot of items, doing a more optimized route now that he knows where some of the bad ones are. So it looks like Azder is going right to Meridia. There are a lot of items here, so it's not a bad idea just to get it out of the way. The only problem is if there is a good item on the top here, we'll take a look. He's almost there. He will need Speed Booster to get this item, but it looks like it's only missiles, so he lucked out.
Yeah, that's always a good feeling when you see an item that is locked by Speed Booster and it's not something that you have to have.
All right, looks like Sloaters is finding the Varia suit location.
Yeah, in the meantime, Andrew over here has picked up the screw attack, which can definitely make portions of the run much more comfortable, such as Lower Norfair. He's now heading to the wreck ship energy tank location, and unfortunately only sees a missile. It looks like he saved before that, though, so he could reset and go back to his save.
I'm not even sure where he found that, actually, but yes, that is an extremely, extremely useful item to have, especially coming up for Lower Norfair. Not sure if you already mentioned that, but yeah. I was trying to remember where he got it, so.
I think he picked it up post, unless I'm mistaken. I might have missed. It's kind of hard to keep track of all four at the same time, but I believe he picked it up after he killed Fantoon, so I assume it was in one of those super missile rooms.
Oh, it looks like the chat is saying Alpha PBs. Okay.
Oh, okay, so it was earlier than that. But yes, I don't throw the term free around very much, especially when talking about anything Super Metroid related, but I would say that having Screw Attack makes Lower Norfair about as free as you could get. I mean, having the ability to simply spin jump into every single creature and kill it to avoid damage makes Lower Norfair much less dangerous.
Yeah, it makes you so much more comfortable and confident as well. Looks like Andrew's picking up the Plasma Beam. That's obviously very, very, very powerful weapon. Very good to have. If he can find that X-ray scope, and we're still looking for Charge, he will be set. because I'm sure he'll come across wave once he beats Kraid. So
yes, in the meantime, looks like Zoast over here has managed to move very quickly. He's dispatched of Fantoon, and he's now going to go and check some items here in the wreck ship as well. So, even though he died earlier, he was, as you mentioned before, able to know where a lot of the items were, and he could kind of skip over some of the minor items that he felt was or were unnecessary. So he's been able to make up some time here.
Yep. The only thing with that strat that could bite him is if we can't really find charge, or if he can't find charge, which it should be in a decent item location. He'll just have to start looking around, because you need, I believe, 60 supers to kill Mother Brain. So it's kind of gets stressful when you're coming to the end with no charge.
That is true. And on top of that, you would need enough ammo to also get through the Mother Brain 1 phase. So usually, you'd have enough missiles to do that, but sometimes you have to be a little bit careful there. Okay, what we have over here on the top left with Azder is he's going to be doing what is essentially like a low percent fight for Dragon. So he's going to try to utilize his regular missiles in particular. He'll use his supers as well, but during the goo phase, he's going to shoot this goo and then try to collect a lot of the drops. And so he doesn't have speed booster or grapple, so this is pretty much the only way that he has with his current item set to kill Dragon.
Yeah, and this kind of gives a pretty large illusion that Azder is very far ahead, but he still needs to do Fantoon, which is quite a long section to do. And he's doing all of this without some of the better items. So if these guys find Speed Booster, for example, before they go into Meridia, it'll be a significant time save for them, because Meridia can take quite a while without it.
That is an excellent point. Meridia is quite large, and some of the rooms I also find to be sort of the most difficult in all of the whole planet to actually get through with sort of low percent item set. So definitely an opportunity for other runners to make up a little bit of time if they have some of those faster moving items. I mean, even Space Jump, for example, that Sloaters has, when he gets to Meridia, he'll also have it. But look, right on cue, Oats, we got Sloaters picking up Speed Booster.
Yep, and like I said, that will give him a significant edge over Azder once he decides to go into Meridia. So it definitely was the better idea to check some of this stuff. I believe Azder was actually here. He must have decided not to check the top left here. So very interesting.
Yeah, I certainly can understand the logic behind some of the choices. It's like, there's always the opportunity for there to be good items in any location, but at the same time, if you literally check everything, the vast majority of the time, you're just going to come up with, minor items and stuff like that. So I think after he grabbed Gravity, I think he sort of rolled out and headed to Meridia. I don't blame him for that play. Everybody kind of has different sort of, strategies for how they want to deal with the logic.
Right, and it's a randomizer, so you're taking your chances, right? So,
speaking of which, Sloaters just found Speed Booster and then his favorite item, Spring Ball, which now validates the run, and he's about to find Gravity when he gets to the bottom of Bubble Mountain. So Bubble Mountain having a bunch of key items here.
Looks like Foosda is going to go ahead and check that one E-Tank location in the Gauntlet, see what he gets there. Looks like Azder is trying to escape. I'm not sure if he checked. He must have. He must have checked the sandy area in Meridia, but I was not watching that portion. Like you said, it's kind of difficult to watch all these guys at once, so we're doing our best. Zoast, I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Whew.
I got really nervous there for a second.
I didn't know if he had one more jump or not, and that was a little bit scary.
Dude, look at Sloaters. Bubble Mountain, totally and completely stacked.
Yeah, at this point, Azder's he made the wrong decision, but obviously nobody can know, right? It's random luck, and he just got unlucky here. That he went to Meridia before checking some of these other item locations, because that would have significantly sped up his Meridia and he could have been in and out very quickly.
So here's what I think we're going to see, okay? Again, it's hard to always tell, but I would say that right now Sloaters is in the most commanding position, and part of the reason for that is if he does go back up and find Gravity Suit, or even if he doesn't, like if he just chooses to instead try to lava dive into Lower Norfair anyway, assuming that he doesn't die, he basically is in go mode. I mean, even if he didn't find Gravity, he technically could go ahead and complete the game. So I would say Sloaters is in the best position to take advantage of his routing. Trying to do Meridia after Lower Norfair, if you can pull it off, is actually the best, most efficient routing that you can do. So he's in a pretty good spot here.
Yep, that's kind of the premise behind the any percent new route as well. It just Meridia puts you nearest Golden 4. Looks like Sloater is going to be doing his the lava dive here, which is pretty simple. It doesn't do too much damage to you. He doesn't have a high jump, however, right? Or did he find high jump?
Yeah, that's what makes this part more difficult than normal. High jump boot lava dive is not really that difficult, but without high jump boots, you have to tank a fireball, use the iframes to climb the spikes, and he nailed it. Nice job, Sloaters.
Yeah, very nice. It was looking a little bit scary there for a second, but he pulled it off. And like we said, this obviously is, I don't believe lava diving would be in logic if nothing else is. So he knows he's breaking logic, but he's taking that chance because he doesn't need, like Kipp said, he doesn't need gravity to beat the game at this point. So he's kind of in go mode.
Yeah, technically here, if he wants to, he has no other items that are literally required. So it just kind of depends on how many he wants to check, etc. If I were him, I'd probably skip over that screw attack location. That would just be my approach. But every player's different. Some people want to check to see if there's anything good over there that might improve their.
Looks like he's going to refill before entering, or he might just be leaving here.
Yeah, actually, I didn't think about that. That actually was probably a smart choice because that lava dive took a lot of his health. So going down there to get the energy refill on purpose, and then also to check what items are there, I certainly don't think that's a bad choice at all.
All right, looks like Azder is in Fantoon's lair here. That's what you're about to say. Who knows?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was actually just going to point out that with the screw attack, Zoast just did one of the most fun moonfalls in the game in Red Tower, where you can just kind of break through all those blocks, which is a lot of fun. And looks like Andrew is going to go check the X-ray spot as well, which, if I recall correctly, was Space Jump, so he'll have a nice movement item. Space Jump and Screw Attack really are a great combo together, so I'm sure he'll utilize that for the rest of the run.
All right, Sloater's making his way down to Ridley. He doesn't really need to check any of the items. I'm sure he might check. He might still be looking. Well, he knows that gravity can't be here, so I'm not sure if he's even going to check or he's just going to try to get through it as fast as possible. There's a few items after Ridley and one before that you can check, so we'll see.
Yeah, he doesn't have a ton of health in terms of his maximum health. And Ridley will do a lot of damage to you if you don't have the full defensive properties of, gravity. I think that they have it where they give 50% damage reduction per each suit in this randomizer. So the fact that he only has Varia means that he'll be taking more damage than normal from Ridley. However, he will be able to kill Ridley much faster than normal because he has 30 supers and can back that up with the charge beam as well. So hopefully he won't have any trouble.
And he's a very experienced player, so I'm sure he'll make quick work of Ridley with the items that he has. Looks like Zoast is making his way to Kraid. He will be finding the Varia suit.
Oh wow, Andrew with the Spazer disrespect. But I guess he doesn't have any reason to pick it up since he already has plasma.
Right. I'd assume he'd just have to take it off in his menu if he did.
One cool thing that we see is Sloaters is utilizing a bunch of cool new route strats. In fact, if I recall, Oates, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe in the room after Amphitheater where we first see those 3 key hunters, didn't you invent that strat for getting that short charge and then killing them with the echo?
You know, I wish I did, but unfortunately I did not. I think that was Behemoth, but then we could be going on all day. I'm not sure who actually invented that, to be honest.
Oh, come on, man. I was giving you a chance to just take credit for it.
Yep, I definitely invented that. The whole routing as well, yeah. So Sloaters is getting started with the Ridley fight, not losing any time, just jumping right into supers. Ridley is essentially almost already dead. Just take a few more supers, and Sloaters will be on his way to... Let's see here. He's still got Faint Tune and wait. No, he's just got Kraid after this. So, or not Kraid. I'm reading this thing wrong. What does he have after this?
Okay, you talking about Sloaters?
Oh yeah, he still has Faint Tune and Dragon left. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what we're going to see from Sloaters here, since he's pretty much in go mode, is the what I refer to as the GT Classic routing, which technically is, if you can do it, the single most efficient routing in the game. Basically killing Kraid, immediately going to Lower Norfair, killing Ridley, and then making your way up to Meridia to kill Dragon, and then you just basically visit Fantoon's room and leave since you're already on the surface. So that's what I expect to see him try. Another thing is, you never know, but I kind of doubt that he will forget about Bubble Mountain because he has to go back through Bubble Mountain anyway on his way out of Lower Norfair. So I'm expecting him to go down and check that missile location and find Gravity Suit, and at that point, it's just off to the races.
Right. It could slip his mind since he's already been there, but I'm sure he's made mental notes of what he hasn't checked. So.
Yeah, well, it can happen to anybody, though. That's for sure. Zoast right now checking the Ice Beam location, finding some super missiles. Sometimes in these randos you will see, in fact, I think Zoast is sort of showing a little bit of an example of this. He only has 5 regular missiles, but he has a bunch of supers. A lot of times people will continue to collect supers, sometimes even if they have Charge Beam, for example, if they don't yet have Plasma Beam, because supers are still very, very valuable against every single boss, even Mother Brain. Supers do, even though they don't do double damage to her, they still do enough damage to warrant picking them up, unless you have a fully powered beam. So I'm not surprised to see some of these runners continuing to grab supers along the way.
Yeah, and you know that you're going to find plenty of super packs along the way, so there's really no use in just grabbing the little supers or the little missile packs here and there.
Yeah, agreed.
Sloaters is skipping the supers now, however, but it's not surprising. He's got pretty good beams, still looking for plasma, but he has, I'm not sure how many supers he has, but he has quite a few. I think 35 or 40.
Yeah, he's got 40 total, and what I would also assume is, considering that he's probably likely to kill Fantoon last, we probably will see him potentially refill at the ship before he goes to Torian if he feels like he needs those supers. So he's in pretty good shape here. Looks like Andrew's taking the top way out of the Ice Beam location while we have Zoast on his way to the Bubble Mountain area. I think there's one location here in the Cathedral where he's going to check this missile pack at the bottom here. And skipping those missiles.
Yeah, but I'm not sure what Azder is doing. Is he checking an item that he possibly missed up here?
That's a good question. It's like we talked about earlier, it's kind of hard to keep track of every tiny thing. Maybe he didn't check the beach, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't know if he checked it. I just assumed that he did, so he must be... What is he looking for here? Charge Beam, possibly?
Yeah, he doesn't yet know where Charge Beam is. He also doesn't know, where Speed Booster is, which is, I'm sure, an item he would like to have, or even Space Jump or High Jump Boots. At this point, it's kind of interesting. He found uh, the suits so early, which are great, but at the same time, he probably would love to have some of those movement items. Unfortunately, many of the ones he would love to have are in the Bubble Mountain area.
Yeah, not finding much. Super's in an E-Tank, so he's probably not too happy about that. Having to backtrack all the way when he could have just made his way to Lower Norfair. I'm not sure where he was when he decided to come back up to the beach, however, so who knows how much of a time loss this is.
Oh no, look at Sloaters.
Oh no, like I said, the reason I brought that up is because I've done this a million times, or not a million, right? But like the amount of times that I've played the randomizers, I've forgotten so many items here and there, and it's like, oh shoot, he's going to remember at some point, and he's going to kick himself for it.
And to add insult to injury, while he is looking over them, Andrew on the bottom right just picked them up. And there's two cool things that happened. It's kind of hard to keep track when you have four good runners, but Andrew did a really cool method where he got to the end of Cathedral and used his X-ray scope to check those items. So he saved a few seconds by not having to go down and look at them. So pretty cool use of X-ray there. And then in the meantime, Zoast just picked up his speed booster and he got over to that location by doing a D-boost off of a waiver in Bubble Mountain. So that was really cool. So now Andrew's heading to Lower Norfair as well.
Yeah, we'll see if Zoast checks the bottom right before making his next routing decision here. I would assume he would. I mean, that's just a common item location. But we'll see what he does. He looks like he's not maybe crossing his mind here.
Yeah, it looks like he's heading to Wave first. The problem with not checking the Bubble Mountain item itself that's actually in the room when you first enter it is that sometimes you can sort of just keep your momentum and think, well, I'm already on top, I don't want to have to climb again. I'm just going to check everything that's up here. And then sometimes you can forget, as Sloaters did. So luckily,
and
Andrew found it.
Another bad thing is finding like Charge Beam too. That gives them a false sense of item progression almost, to where they can just continue to progress without. If we were to find like bad items, that might make him think about the item he just missed, which looks like he's going back up actually.
Yeah, so hopefully he'll find it. Looks like Andrew is going to check the GT. There's two items in this room. He also is probably less afraid of GT because he has the plasma beam and charge beam, so he can make quick work of this fight. Once he gets GT, he can get GT backed up against the wall and then use or did he not pick up charge yet?
It's not looking like he did. I wonder what type of routing he took.
I guess he just decided to skip the wave location. So instead, I mean, the fight shouldn't take too long. He's going to use his grapple beam to farm these supers from the eggs. But this fight can be really easy if you have a fully powered beam and charge beam to go with. Meanwhile, Zoast visiting Crocomire, only requiring one shot here with the plasma and charge beams to make Crocomire back all the way up into the acid.
Yep, and also to his left, Azder will be making his way down to Lower Norfair. It looks like. That is his final. That Ridley is the final boss for him. So he still needs to find charge, but he will find it along the way. Trying to see, did he? Yeah, he found gravity. So it should be pretty good. But like you said, Sloaters has a pretty commanding lead right now. So
he does. Unfortunately, though, the fact that he accidentally skipped the location that had gravity suit. I believe had he found gravity earlier, he wouldn't have gone to Crocomire because he really would have needed nothing else. So he lost a few minutes by doing that, but hopefully he'll remember and maybe go back and check it real quick.
Yeah, we'll see right here. This will be the deciding factor, left or right. He is going right, so it probably did cross his mind. Oh, there it is. He's probably beating himself up right now about missing this one single item, which would have saved him the entire Crocomire sequence there.
Yes, I do agree with you. However, I think at this point, with him picking up the gravity suit, I would say Sloaters is in a pretty commanding position in terms of, he doesn't have anything else he needs to check. He just knows he needs to go kill these last two bosses, and he's definitely equipped to do so. So I don't expect him to check too many more item locations.
Yep, the only thing that would be nice for him is plasma, but like you said, he does not need it at all, and he can make still pretty quick work of these bosses.
Meanwhile, Azder is paying a visit to Crocomire as well. A lot of people feel sorry for Crocomire because if you think about it, Crocomire never really does anything to you. He's just chilling in his home, and then you come in and kill him. Do you feel like Samus did him a disservice?
Yeah, I really did. It's very disrespectful to just intrude like that, and yeah, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Getting the Crocomire emotes in the chat. I love it. There's many of them. Many great crocs. I think Crocomire is one of my favorite fights in this entire game, though. The sequence, the bone sequence, him dying it's very it's just a very cool way to kill a boss. And it's really ahead of its time for being on SNES and everything, I feel like.
I agree. Look at the bottom right. Andrew utilizing the plasma beam without charge, but with the X-ray to kill the metal pirates. This is a very interesting thing. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, nor have I. Very interesting. I think Foosda's pretty Andrew's pretty versed on these randomizers, so he probably knows all the little tricks here and there.
Oh yeah, he knows a lot of things. He's got a ton of knowledge about different categories and the randomizers. I know he's been doing them for quite some time, so he's probably tried all kinds of neat things. One quick thing that we can point out from Andrew as well, one of the ways that Grapple Beam is very useful is, not only can you use it to kill Dragon if you need to, or to get through certain rooms, like with vanilla strats or intended strats, but that room before Ridley is a perfect place to utilize it for a speedy farm.
Well, what I've been noticing here is on the top left, Azder does not have bombs, and he does not have speed booster. So what he's trying to do is a green gate glitch to see what the item is at Grapple. I think he's probably thinking it's very important, so this is very dire. But I believe it's just supers there, if I recall correctly.
I don't want to sound ignorant on this, but I've never been in this situation without an item to get out. Can he even get out once he's in? He doesn't have grapple.
Yeah, he can get out. I'm almost positive, yeah.
Oh, he just needs to go out the right way. Yeah, never mind. I'm not sure if he could exit the top way, but yeah, he's fine now.
Yeah, with the top way, you can make the jump, I believe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, looks like we're going to see some, probably a mix between any percent new route, or I guess old route as well, and low percent speed Dragon here. Sloaters is probably going to try to use the Shine Spark method to kill Dragon, but it can be a little bit trickier when you don't have high jump boots. In particular, you jump even less vertically when you have speed booster and no high jump boots. Unfortunately, he missed the first short charge, but let's see what he can do here.
Yeah, he might just end up getting grabbed and possibly trying to grapple, but it looks like he is going to do the... Oh, no, he is going... Oh, wow, I thought he was going to do a cool grapple strat there. Never mind.
Yeah, you can explain this to me. I don't know how to explain it. I just know it from a lot of low percent ice experience, but I've noticed that if she is gooing to the right, like if she's moving from left to right, a lot of times the goo that gets on you will not trigger her to grab you, but it always does when she's going from right to left. So even right here is another example. He got gooed, but it didn't trigger her to grab him. I'm not sure why it's that way, but it does work that way most of the time.
Yeah, nor am I, but I have noticed that as well throughout the years. But I just, typically when you're doing these fights, if that happens, I'm probably just resetting, or I don't pay much mind to it. I don't think about it.
That's a good point. In the pure speedrun context, that's probably death anyway.
Yeah. All right, Sloaters killing Dragon, getting blue suit. He's going for something called a spark suit, which is not a double frame perfect. We typically call it that for sake of for ease, but he doesn't get it. He decides to just keep his blue suit. Nothing of importance there, and he is on his way up to Fantoon.
Meanwhile, Zo's checking the Mickey Mouse location in Lower Norfair. Didn't find anything useful, so he's going to head to Amphitheater now.
Yep, and Andrew making his way up to the top of Lower Norfair Escape, and he will be checking a few items here and making his way to Dragon.
That's right. Zoast, meanwhile, while he's heading to Ridley, he's kind of running low percent strats here for some of the portions because he can't jump as high to get over some of these pirates, but he is utilizing again his speed booster there for the new route strat, and he also has screw attack, so he can basically just jump through any enemy down here and feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I assume what Zos is going to do is he's probably just going to just have beating the game in mind, not collecting items, but collecting items along the way, which is obviously he's still looking for one more, which would be gravity. But other than that, he's probably not thinking too much of item locations or thinking about picking up items.
Yeah, that's a great point. So looks like what we have here for Sloaters is he's going to, and I don't want to make fun of Sloaters. He's my guy, but I got to shout out real quick. He's giving a little love to the fish, but I got to shout out to the multi-category tournament from last year. He was racing GT Classic actually versus Andrew over here. And after he killed Dragon, he went straight up and forgot about Fantoon and went straight to G4 and then just had to sit there through the G4 sequence. So hopefully we will not get an attempted Fantoon skip here.
That would make it a little more interesting, however. Just
that
saying,
is true.
But... Nah, I'm sure he won't forget. And it looks like Zos is going to fight Ridley here. Azder is short behind, and Andrew is making his way to Dragon still here. Just got out of the escape sequence of Lower Norfair.
My goodness, I've never seen this before, but it looks like we have a Fantoon skip emote in the chat. That is glorious. Thank you very much.
You know, at this point, I'm very curious where the high jump boots are. We have 4 runners, all taking pretty interesting routes, very different routes, and we still haven't found it yet. You know, I think Shack Tool might be holding on to it, but
that could be possible for sure. Yeah, my initial guess is somewhere deep in Meridia, because that seems to be the location where some of the items haven't been checked. I guess it could be a waterway as well.
Yeah, it more than likely is in Meridia, because I don't think they checked some of the sand pits, if I recall correctly. So,
looks like Sloaters is getting ready to do some X Factor strats here on Fantoon, which is, unless I'm mistaken, I think more of a traditional old route strat. I guess technically you could do it in 100% as well. But yeah, you don't get to see these types of Fantoon X Factor strats too often in randomizers, simply because usually when you fight them, you don't have both items charge and wave. So cleaning him up with a nice 2-round, well done.
Yeah, I believe you only see that in the old route now, but I think even in the old route, they made Doppler now, if I'm not mistaken, but I haven't seen the run for a while, so...
Yeah, I think it's just kind of runner preference. There are some people that Doppler, and I think some people kind of still do the X-ray, the X factors, just because they're kind of accustomed to it. Up here on the top left, Azder is going to use 3 super missiles each to kill the metal pirates. That's a bit of a low percent ice strat there.
Could make the fight a little bit longer since he doesn't have plasma, but it shouldn't be too difficult with gravity defense and Varia defense. Looks like Foosda is going to be doing a little X-ray strat on Botsfoon. I believe they called it the microwave, right?
Yeah, the microwave beam. We got a little fried fish there. Whoa, check out Sloaters. I think he's going to do a spring ball. Very nice. That's a great strat for GT Classic in particular. That's one thing I really love about randomizers is, technically anybody can play them and they're a ton of fun. But there is a lot of great crossover between strats in the traditional speedrunning categories to rando, and so the more categories you're familiar with, sort of the more options you're probably aware of for individual room strats. So it's cool to see them bust out different strats that you recognize from different runs.
Yeah, and a lot of strats, even if you have the same items, there are many ways to do different, the same room many different ways, essentially. So it's always interesting to see different players do the same rooms.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about Super Metroid. There's just so much diversity, even amongst the same category. But here we have Sloaters making it to G4. They've taken out the G4 sequence, or I guess the cutscene, if you will. So he's able to just jump straight down there and go to Torian. And he basically, other than missing high jump boots, which shouldn't affect him too badly, he's basically just going to plow through these rooms and kill Metroids like he normally does. And we'll see how long it takes him.
It looks like Zoast forgot to check this location, but he turned around. I think he heard the chat's cry out for help there.
Very fortunate that he remembered to look, because again, while not required, gravity suit definitely makes Meridia a lot faster. Okay, at this point, Andrew has killed all 4 of the bosses, so I think technically he's in second place right now. He just needs to head to G4 and finish up.
Yeah, and Azder is done. Still says he needs Ridley on the tracker, but he is done with all the bosses as well. And it looks like... I felt like Zoast did Ridley, but apparently not. I must be thinking about somebody else here.
Yeah, I think he's done Ridley. I just don't think it's been marked yet. He'll still need to make his way up to Dragon to kill her. Interesting thing with Azder up here in the top left, as we know, he actually was the first person to find Gravity Suit, but unfortunately he decided to skip the Bubble Mountain area to sort of maybe take a little bit of a risk to save some time, and he missed out on Speed Booster, Spring Ball, and Charge Beam. So what that is essentially doing is it not only did it cost him time from that point forward, but it's even right now having him look for items that he thinks will make him go faster. If he had all those other items, he probably wouldn't have to check a lot of these locations.
Yeah, it's probably not the greatest idea to take the type of routing that he did. I understand why he did, but for just a simple Super Metroid randomizer, you want to check the bulk of where items are, and there were 4 to 6 items. No, just 4 items at that point, but still 4 items out of 100 could potentially have the items that he really needs to speed up his routing.
Yeah, actually, I think it was 6, right? Because there's 2 in the Bubble Mountain Reserve location, 2 at Speed Booster, and 2 at Wave. So
right, I didn't know if he checked Speed Booster, so
I don't think so, because Speed Booster, if I recall correctly, was Spring Ball. So I would assume that had he gone there, he probably would have picked it up.
Correct. Yeah. He is skipping the reserve here as well. He wouldn't need to do this if he would have checked the upper left of Bubble Mountain where the reserve is. That's where Speed Booster is hiding. He could have forgot about it, or he may just be trying to get to G4 and not even worrying about Speed Booster, which is probably the case because he doesn't need it at this point.
It's a good point.
He can still beat the game relatively quickly without it.
That's right. He does have enough ammo. One thing he'll need to do, though, is he will need to go ahead or excuse me, Azder, he's going to need to go ahead and refill at the ship if he's going to go chargeless to Torian, because you don't want to show up in Torian with 4 super missiles and then hope to get 65 before you get some other brain. So
Well,
that's
I
going to be
believe
something he's gonna
Azder
have to
did
do.
find charge.
Oh, did he? Oh, my
Yeah,
mistake.
it is marked. So he did go to wave, but he got gravity before or after. Then he left. Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Also, I'd never even noticed that Andrew did not find speed booster. So
that's right. He did not. And I'm actually really bummed, man. My favorite item in the whole game is high jump boots, and it looks like we're not going to find them at all.
Yeah, more than likely in Meridia. I'm still betting on Shack Tool, but I guess we'll never know unless there are spoilers for this.
Yeah, hopefully it'll have the same, credits as the other randomizers I've seen, and it'll tell you where all the major items are. I'm not sure about that, but we'll find out hopefully here in a few minutes when Sloaters gets done. But yeah, Sloaters is finished with Mother Brain 2. And assuming nothing weird happens on the way out, he is going to finish in first place out of all 4 of these runners.
Part of me was hoping that he would get catch up just a little bit, just a little, and he would have saved. I would have loved to have seen Foosda try to make a little comeback, but I'm not sure if he saved or not. He doesn't really need to. It's not too difficult. Even if you do get catch up with 5 E-tanks, he has reserves, and he would be fine even with 1 catch up regardless. So,
yeah, he. When you get used to speedrunning this game, especially doing like 80% where you only have 3 energy tanks, usually anything after that feels very, very comfortable. One thing I just thought of is it is technically possible to do the baby skip without high jump boots, but it's way more difficult. So far, Sloaters and Andrew weren't able to do so. Not that I doubt the other 2 runners, but it's just a very, very difficult trick to get without it. So I doubt that we will see a baby skip in today's races.
And if I recall correctly, it's not much faster anyways without high jump. It's still faster, but it's significantly cut down because of the extra jumps you need to do to make it work.
Yeah, that's a great point. So Sloaters is on the escape sequence here. Oats, do you think he'll save the animals? I'm just going to go on record. I'm sorry if this upsets anybody, but I certainly hope not.
You certainly hope he does.
No, I hope he doesn't.
Oh, doesn't? Oh, okay. I didn't hear the last word there. I don't think he will. I think he's gonna taunt him. Honestly, he's gonna try to bamboozle us a little bit here. So we'll see. Zoast making his way up to Golden 4. Azder doing the first room, and Andrew making some quick work with the plasma beam, ice in wave with Mother Brain 2 here.
Yeah, Zoast made up a ton of time here, considering that he took a very untimely death. Several minutes, like it had to have been like 8 minutes or so into the run, maybe more at the beginning. So the fact that he died and then had to start at the beginning again. He really has moved quite quickly through the rest of this run.
Yeah,
Sloaters. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sloaters finished with a 58:39. So congrats to Sloaters.
Yeah, GG Sloaters, great run, buddy, and a lot of great decisions.
Yeah, he did make a lot of great decisions. Honestly, that run. He really just got in and out. He knew what items that he needed to win, and once he got those items, he really just had his eye on Torian. So congrats to him again. Andrew going on to the 3rd phase, and Zoast making his way through. Like you were saying with Zoast, he made excellent progress coming back. It would have been a very tight race if Zoast wouldn't have died, but unfortunately these things happen, so it is what it is.
Also showing off his speedrunning prowess there. Unfortunately, the end of the strat didn't quite work, but he had basically the fastest, swaggiest way to move through room number 2, Metroid room number 2 there, so that was cool to see. He's only maybe like a minute behind Azder at this point. Oats, if you were to guess, man, I think I would say that Zoast is actually potentially ahead of Azder in terms of potential time because he has speed booster and plasma beam?
So it's really tough to say. I think it's going to be essentially a tie. That's all I can say right now because Azder will be losing time because of the plasma and because of speed. If he would have had speed, I would say that Azder would actually be still ahead by a decent amount, but it takes 60 shots for Azder. He does have a lot of super missiles, however, so that will mitigate that time loss without plasma.
Oh, you have a great point. Actually, he can almost finish Mother Brain just with ammo alone.
Yeah, so I do take that back. I did forget that he has many supers, so that will essentially still keep him in the lead. Even with no speed booster, because it's hard to say, anywhere from 5 to 10-second loss, a little bit more because you can't do the Shine Spark up the climb, but it's not too bad.
Right, can't do the climb or the Shine Spark on the climb. You also can't Shine Spark in the escape room number 3, which does add a little bit of time. But I think someone with Azder's experience with low percent shouldn't have too much trouble. He also will not be able to do the stand-up glitch that Zos will be able to do, but I'm not sure if that will be quite enough to make up. We'll see. In the meantime,
be very careful here. He was taking a lot of damage. He has screw attack, so he needs to do a more difficult Zebetite skip, but he gets it before he reaches 2 E-tanks, luckily.
Yeah, he can't get hit really by anything, I don't think, other than maybe like a one lone onion ring or something like that. He needs to be very careful with his health. But in the meantime, we got Andrew on the bottom right. He's going to finish up. He also doesn't have speed booster, so he's going to have to do wall jumps to get out of the climb here. But he's probably about 20 seconds.
I don't know if you saw, but the high jump boots were at plasma beam.
Oh, I did not see that. All right. Well, that is definitely a location that most people would not go to just because it's a singular item. But hey, that's why you got to put a really strong item like high jump boots there. And GG to Andrew, finishing with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 18 seconds in second place of the 4 runners. So great job, Andrew, and congratulations.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet that him and Sloaters would have a very close race if it wasn't for the speed booster that Andrew missed.
Good point.
I feel like the speed booster definitely has been an item that if these 2 players could have significantly improved their time, but you know, as it goes, it's a randomizer and can't do much about it. You never know.
For sure. I just realized the mistake I made too. I don't have chat open at the moment, but I'm sure someone probably already corrected me on this. But yeah, Zoast, even though he does have plasma beam, cannot do the stand-up glitch because you can only do that, I believe, if you have 7 E-tanks. So considering that he ran with only 3, the stand-up, opportunity was not available for him.
I was letting you have it, all right?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's one of those things, the stand-up glitch. It's not really worth grabbing the energy tanks to do it. If they're all along the way, you can do it, but it's not worth going out of your way for potentially more E-tanks. It's only about, I want to say 10 to 20 second time save, which is nice, but it's not. Oh, well, I'm not sure. Do you know how much time that saves, Kipp? Probably 10 to 15?
Yeah, I like just off the top of my head, don't quote me, but I think it's somewhere between maybe 15 and 20, maybe 20 maximum. But I agree with you, you don't necessarily go looking for E-tanks so you can try to save those 20 seconds, because if you're doing that, then you're wasting time picking up the item. So definitely a better idea, if you can pull it off, to just go with minimum E-tank. All right, now Azder doing the low percent climb here, and he is only a couple rooms away. He'll finish up the climb room and then parlor, head out back to the ship. Meanwhile, Zoast is starting his escape sequence. I think you were 100% correct, Oats. He is, going to make up some time on Azder here from having the speed booster, but unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to actually make it sort of like close or you know, for there to be any drama. So Azder's going to finish in third place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 5 minutes and 7 seconds. GG to him.
Yeah, very good run. All very close. 58, 102, and a 105. And Zoast not far behind here. That's the unfortunate part for Zoast is because he didn't. Well, he had plasma, but for Azder, because he didn't die, that allowed him to just keep all of the missiles, all the small little items that he collected. But since Zoast died, he had to try to make up time. He had to skip those small items, which, if he wouldn't have found plasma, could have saved him some time at Mother Brain.
Definitely. So despite that one death by Zoast, all 4 runners having a very, very nice run and putting on an excellent exhibition, and Zoast in great fashion being in 4th place. Looks like we're going to get a little visit to the animals.
I think he's taunting, but yeah, I knew someone would do it. I thought it was Sloaters, but oh well, he's going back. We'll find out.
He's doing the double taunt, the triple taunt. Up into the ceiling with his
I believe he's trying to do a
gimmick
here. I'm
so,
not
despite that one death by Zoast, all 4 runners having a very, very nice run and putting on. Oh, he might be trying to get stuck, Rambo style. Great fashion.
Yeah, or get in and out
place.
without
Looks
even
like we're gonna get a little visit to the animals here. Oh, what's he gonna do? Yeah. Oh, is he gonna?
Oh no, he was trying to, but he unfortunately got stuck in the door. He was trying to do a X-ray climb out of the room, allowing him to escape without saving these poor little animals.
That's crazy. I've never seen that before. He doesn't even have enough energy to fly any further. He didn't actually hit anything. He just got stopped because he ran out of energy. Unfortunate. So GG to Zoast, finishing in 4th place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 21 seconds. Still an excellent performance, especially when you can factor in the death. So all 4 runners doing a great job of showing what this randomizer logic is about, and giving a lot of cool exposure to this SMRAT tournament. So congratulations to all 4 of these guys, and also good luck to everybody who's participating in this tournament. I'm sure there'll be lots of great races. Are we going to get anybody in here for an interview?
They're in here, but I
don't think anyone's in here.
Yeah, well, I don't. You muted himself again.
Oh, come on.
We have Andrew in here, and Azder, and Sloaters. So how do you guys feel about your runs?
Oh boy.
He just laughs. Okay, well, that's all we need to know. Thanks for talking, Andrew.
I thought I was dead last, not gonna lie.
You weren't too far behind Sloaters. Sloaters with the 58, you with the 102. Really, the deciding factor in that was the speed booster.
Where?
Are you wondering where it was, or?
Yeah, where the heck was that, man?
It was in Reserve, Norfair Reserve.
Oh man, if only I checked that. That would have been so much quicker.
Yeah, and Sloaters, you had to backtrack a little bit. You must have remembered that you missed the bottom right Bubble Mountain item, and it must have been kicking yourself once you did Crocomire to only find that the item you were looking for was there.
Yeah, it really. I didn't think of it until like in the middle of the croc fight, and I was like, oh, I should probably go back there. I don't want to like run all the way back here later if it happens to be high jump or gravity. And then I laughed immediately when I saw it.
Yeah, we were talking about how it's so easy to forget items, and we're like, oh, he'll probably get it on the way back, and then you decided to skip it, so we were a little bit sweating, but yeah, you got it.
Yeah, thankfully.
And how do you feel about your run, Azder?
I managed to just narrowly dodge every single item in Bubble Mountain area that would have put me in go mode at like 20 minutes in.
Yeah, it really looked like you were about to take a commanding lead. Oats and I were talking about that, and then you left. And it's not really your fault. You can't expect necessarily that those items are going to be there, but Bubble Mountain ended up being stacked. So what did you feel like whenever you sort of went through Meridia and weren't able to find any powerful items?
I was starting to get worried. I was like, well, I don't know how much of Wreck Ship I want to do. There might have been something good at Bubble Mountain, but I feel like if that was the case at this point, then I lose. And the main reason I didn't check Bubble Mountain is that I'd already like gone partway to LN, forgetting I didn't have an item for War Stream, and then I felt like it was I was in a bit of an awkward position to check Bubble Mountain stuff from there.
Is that why you
So-
decided to go back to Meridia to check Sandy Beach?
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I did that. Like, sort of on the way back to Norfair, I meandered kind of through Meridia because I was just like, I really need there to not be stuff at Bubble Mountain to win this.
Correct. Well, it was a valiant effort, and like we said, it would have been very interesting if you would have decided to do that, but you never know. It is a randomizer, so it was worth the chance that you took. I'm not sure if we're gonna get Zoast in here, but he had a very good run as well. He unfortunately died, so
Holy moly.
yeah, he died to going back to Blue Brinstar instead of going down to Red Tower. He decided to check all that good stuff there and died to the side hoppers.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
Yeah, it was very brutal. It's a lot of damage they deal.
Andrew, real quick, I saw something from you that I had not seen before. You used the X-ray scope with the plasma beam to microwave the metal pirates. That was really neat. So is that something that you discovered yourself, or is that sort of something that is known or is used in a different category that you?
That's kind of known, I'm pretty sure, but not having charge makes it kind of slow. I don't like at that point, like I didn't have charge, so I just wanted to get supers. So I just wanted to kill them with that way. And like, I don't know, it's probably debatable if that's faster or not than just farming. But I thought it might be like one of the few times I'll ever get to show it off, so might as well.
Yeah, even if it's slower, it was definitely swaggier. So thanks for showing that off.
Yeah, no problem. Do you guys catch the rare mid pattern, the rare left mid pattern on Fantoon? That was
I didn't see that. No.
No,
I
we're watching 4 feeds here, so it's a little bit difficult to see everything. But
I was freaking out. I was like, "What the hell, man? I haven't seen that in like 2 years."
yeah, that's very rare. If you didn't know, the second round left mid in the second round right fast are 2 extremely rare patterns to get. So you never really see them, even if you've been running the game for quite a long time.
Yeah. So real quick, Sloaters, I mentioned on your way up, you were able to utilize basically what is the, if you're able to, the most efficient routing, which is, Kraid, then Ridley, then Dragon, and Fantoon, kind of like the GT Classic. So I had a good opportunity to mention the Fantoon skip. So as you were heading up there, is that something that you constantly think of every time you're in this position because of what happened in the past? Or were you even thinking about maybe sort of feigning and trying to pretend like you were going to do it? Did you have any moment where you wanted to trick us?
Yeah, I do that sometimes if I feel I'm in the lead a lot, or like if I can watch the restream and see. I like to kind of joke around with it, but I do have a tracker when I'm doing this, so I definitely don't forget Fantoon and these randomizers when I'm checking on the tracker all the time.
Definitely. Well, I got to congratulate you. All 4 of the runners did a great job. So for you to come out on top means that you, routed really nicely and you played really excellently as well. So was there any kind of part of the run that is memorable to you where you, maybe had some difficulty or something that was a little bit challenging? Like you pulled off that a high jump bootless lava dive. Was that a moment where you got a little nervous about your health?
I feel pretty comfortable with that trick, especially like with the way the suits are, how the Varia, you don't lose as much health in the lava with just Varia. So I feel fairly confident doing it. And also, I had enough ammo to Crystal Flash, so I knew if I really got in trouble, I could have done that too. So I wasn't too worried. I was more worried at the start just because I was kind of going slow. I was farming a lot before like the wave gate room and going back to Blue Brinstar, so I thought maybe I'd probably fallen behind a bit from doing that. But I wasn't too worried. I was pretty comfortable with my equipment for the most part. Maybe Lower North Bear Escape was a little scary, but it was okay.
Cool. Well, before Oats and Goats and I sort of send this thing off, I want to thank all you guys for putting on this exhibition. That was a lot, obviously, all talented, great runners, both in terms of Super Metroid speedrunning and the randomizer. So, do any of you guys have anything else you'd like to say to chat before you guys head out?
I'd like to say I'm glad to have a full randomizer again. It was nice. I think the idea to separate the items into pools was a great idea, but it did get pretty boring after a couple of years of just seeing E-tanks and E-tanks and E-tanks. So it's fun to play the game with really a lot more limited health in the beginning of the game. Like you have to make a little bit more critical decisions and make sure you're executing correctly instead of just face tanking everything, because you can probably almost always rely on E-tank otherwise in the other randomizer. So it's nice.
Yeah, cool.
Don't
worry, you don't.
Florendo has some pretty interesting opportunities for like really weighing what checks you're going to do and what not. It's less kind of cookie cutter than the major minor pool has become. But especially with like the accessible logic, it's kind of interesting to figure out what the seed wanted you to do. But I was like, I felt like I got really unlucky because there were just so many items that could have been in my way that could have helped me. Like any number of different items, that I just managed to avoid them all. So it was kind of frustrating, but it's
well, you were very good at avoiding the items that you needed. So if that's any consolation,
just next time do exactly what you think you shouldn't. That's the plan.
Yeah, there you go. But all right, if that's anything, if you guys have anything else to say, great. If not, I think we'll wrap this up, right, Kipp?
Yeah, so we'll wrap this up real quick. Everybody out there, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to follow all 4 of these runners. They're all very entertaining, cool guys, and have great streams. Also, I'm sure everybody's heard of Oats and Goats, but if you are new to the scene, make sure to check out Oats' stream. He's got one of the best Super Metroid streams and really just overall gaming streams on Twitch. I'll give you a quick shout out, Oats. Right now, I think you're messing around some with Metroid Fusion. Is that correct?
Yeah, a little Metroid Fusion and some ROM hacking we're doing. So yeah, thanks for the shout out, Kipp. It's very nice of you. And you also have a very nice channel yourself. So make sure to check all the runners out. Check Mr. Kipp out as well. He does fantastic Super Metroid runs. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, y'all have an excellent evening, and GG. See you next mission.
Yeah, thank you.